Hello again, everyone. I don't know why, but I am super anxious making this video. This is the same day as the previous video, which is why I'm dressed mostly the same, except for my hat. But the hat is not for protective purposes this time around. I'm just wearing a hat for the sake of, it's cold. um, so in this video, I want to talk about some of the different delusions that I have. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, one of which I privated, I'd mentioned that certain hats protect my thoughts from spilling out of my head. That's one, I guess, delusion I have. It's kind of illogical to think that the hat would stop them, but it makes me feel more secure. So I like to wear hats when I go out. But sometimes I don't. I don't always. Sometimes I feel fine without them. But yeah, so I guess one delusion I have is thought broadcasting. Thought broadcasting is essentially, well, it works in different ways. So one way in which it works is that you think that your thoughts can be read or heard by others. But then it can also be that you think you can hear or read the thoughts of other people. Now, I don't have that difficulty. I just think that certain people, not every person, can kind of like look into me and read my thoughts and or can hear my thoughts. And sometimes I've heard my thoughts as well. That's more of an auditory hallucination, which I'll discuss auditory hallucinations and other types of hallucinations in a different video. I did visual in the last one. Yeah, it's so just, a thought can occur in my head and then I hear it as though it's from an external source. It's a weird how that works exactly. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but essentially, yes, just hearing my thoughts as though they're coming from somewhere else, and there's no actual source. Which, I hear. I won't get into the auditory stuff much because this is about delusions, but you hear other things that aren't from my head as well. Well, I guess in a sense it is all from my head, but you know what I mean, where hearing it from an external source and it's not a thought I had, it's something else, like a separate voice or something. It could be from like a video game. Like I hear a sound that's from a game, but I'm in the shower or something. It's something like that, or let's say I'm at work. Yeah, so thought broadcasting is one issue I struggle with. I also have a lot of persecutory delusions in which, I think I'm being stalked, recorded, people are spying on me, I've been poisoned, which I don't know if poisoning counts as persecutory. I guess so. I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. But the poisoning has been sparing. I've only thought that a few times about my doctors with like the medication they're prescribing me, or not so much. Sometimes it's not that they're trying to poison me, but that they're trying to control my thoughts with the medication, which I guess in a sense they kind of are, because they want to control those paranoid thoughts. And then I get paranoid about that. I don't like the idea of having my thoughts controlled, but I guess who does really? So controlling my thoughts and being poisoned. I've also thought that people were like tampering with my food and stuff, like my parents and people I've lived with in the past. I have also, I'm drawing a blank for some reason. Oh yeah, stalking and recording. Yeah, that really bothered me at work, especially when I worked customer service, because there's just so many people, and I felt like people who were regulars were people who were like stalking / spying on me. I felt like my coworkers were like keeping an eye on me and were conspiring against me, trying to get me fired or wanting to kill me. Which made going to work very hard, as you can imagine, if you think most of the people there want you dead or want you gone or something. uh, as though I could be so special. um, yeah, so, and then thinking that certain customers were spying on me. One time, I guess it was a hallucination, although it really didn't seem like a hallucination. Usually I'm really good at telling when something's a hallucination and when it's not, but there was an instance where I did see someone recording me from like the clothing area. I worked in the electronics and it was like across from the clothing. Like they had their phone out recording and very quickly hid. Um, but I guess that might have just been something that was in my own head. I didn't investigate much further. I walked towards that direction, but I didn't go all the way over there. So I don't know on that one, but I guess, I mean, it seems like people think it was just a hallucination, so maybe it was just one. It just seemed very different from the ones I usually have. But, I mean, it's possible. Sometimes I have outliers, so I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. It's very important to be open-minded about all this stuff. I think that's one thing that is kind of unique. Well, not like super unique about me, but a little different, is that I tend to be quite open-minded, at least to an extent, regarding my different delusions and like beliefs that I have and stuff, and I'm willing to kind of like compromise on things and keep an open mind on stuff. Whereas I know a lot of people can be like dead set on their beliefs. Like someone else might have been dead set, like, no, there's definitely someone spying on me. Maybe the doctors who are trying to convince me that wasn't happening are actually in on it, and maybe like these people are in on it, and whatever, and it just spirals out of control. Some people are like that. I tend to be much more open-minded and much more composed about things. I try not to let my thoughts spiral out of control to where I'm paranoid of everyone, which has happened in the past, I guess, to an extent, but I'm never like 100%. I don't think like convinced of these people are spying on me. It's like mostly I'm convinced, which is why I often don't take action. So unless I'm 100% sure, I'm not gonna, do something about it. Although, I mean, sometimes I'll try to like remove myself from situations. Like if I'm surrounded by coworkers I think are conspiring against me, I'll try to like, let's say they're working in the front of the store, I might go and work in the back or something. Find tasks that keep me away from them. Yeah, and I just thought like other individuals were recording me. I definitely don't like being recorded, which is ironic because I'm making a YouTube video. Yeah, I don't know, it's strange. I do feel a little uncomfortable in front of the camera. It's kind of a weird experience. I don't like that the doctor's office has cameras and stuff. They say they keep them off, and I guess I'm willing to believe that. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think they have to, legally, without like a person's consent. I don't think they can record, but at least in that capacity. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Otherwise, I also have a belief in which, I don't know if I mentioned this already, maybe it was in a past video, probably the one I privated, the belief that I am not human. I'm not as sold on that one as I used to be, because therapy has been convincing me otherwise, and challenging these different like core beliefs I have has helped me to think a little differently. But I've had the delusion, I guess you'd call it a delusion, I don't know. Some of these things don't really feel delusional to me. They feel quite rational, but I guess that's kind of part of the idea of it being a delusion, is it's not supposed to really feel delusional to the person who's experiencing it. Yeah, I've had the belief I'm not human, that I'm not supposed to be in this world, and that I don't belong here. I don't know where I was supposed to end up, but it wasn't supposed to be here. And maybe I'm not, this really isn't my body, and different things like that. That's a belief I've had. I think that started in 2019, maybe 2018. I can't remember exactly. I think 2019. That's when a lot of my symptoms started to get much worse. yeah, so, which is kind of makes me sad to talk about not being human. And I don't belong here because I do want to belong and I would like to be a human being. But I'm not. At least it doesn't feel like it a lot of the time. It just feels like I've described it as being a fish in the wrong type of water, or just like there's a certain flow to everything, and it seems like I'm a disruption to that flow, and I just don't really have a place or group I really belong with. I mean, I have friends, but they're quite distant now, physically distant. I mean, we still talk pretty regularly, but I don't know. I still feel like a major outsider. And yeah, just like I'm not a human being, but I don't know. Maybe that could potentially be its own video. I feel like I had more to discuss, and then I actually got on camera, and now I don't really have as many thoughts. How about I take? Well, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think, because there's other types of delusions, but I don't think I really experienced those. Like there's like delusions of grandeur. There's like romantic type delusions, stuff like that. But those aren't really things I experienced. Just, I guess the not human thing would be classified as like a more bizarre or kind of unorthodox delusion. I don't know where thought broadcasting fits. I don't know if that's persecutory or not, but I guess most of mine are persecutory. That's a hard word to say. Persecutory. There we go. Delusions. Or how about delusions of persecution? I still couldn't say it. Delusions of persecution. There we go. Yeah. I guess that's really all I have to say then. It's going to be quite a short video, but I guess I could talk a little bit more about what it's like working. Yeah, just a little bit more, because that I don't think people fully understand how hard it is when, if you think the management is against you and you can't trust them, if you think the your coworkers are against you and you think the customers are against you, it's like, man, what a horrible place to be for 8 hours. Like, people are stalking you, they're spying on you, recording you, wanting you dead, wanting you gone. Like, yeah, it's a lot to deal with, especially in that environment and in other environments I've worked in. I worked in childcare, and I thought some of the kids were like, I still took really good care of them, and I got commended for my ability to care for the kids and be very patient for them, but like that they were like machine type drones meant to spy on me from the government. That was one delusion I had. I couldn't hold that job for very long. The stress made my symptoms worse, and I just really didn't feel like the kids should be in my care, which was sad because I really bonded with some of them. I've worked in warehousing, and yeah, again, just so many people, and I just got paranoid of everyone, and I didn't like when people approached me. I like to work in my own space, but you were still surrounded by others, and didn't work out, and the hours were like overnight, so I was very tired, not getting much sleep during the day, and that was making my symptoms worse too. And that was before I even had like proper medication and everything as well. But even with medication, I still have difficulties with different delusions, and as well as hallucinations and whatnot. I guess, I don't know if referential thinking counts as a delusion. I was going to make it its own video. I might still do that, so maybe I shouldn't talk about that right now. It would probably be a short, like 5-minute video or something, but yeah, I feel like I do get kind of concerned, which is funny because this channel, no one really watches these, but the fear that I'm going to run out of topics to discuss already. But I don't know. That's a weird fear I have, which is funny because it's not like, anyone's really watching these anyway, or that I want to make YouTube my thing that I do all the time. Yeah, so yeah, it makes work very hard though. It makes going out in public quite difficult as well. I've gotten better, for sure, but it's still not an easy thing to do, especially in a big city. If I go to a big city, which I'm glad I don't live in one anymore, because that, I think, made my symptoms worse. And it's hard just when places are busy, so I try to go when places aren't full of people and whatnot. Yeah, it can be hard, especially, and then, yeah, if you think people are reading your mind and stuff too, whether that's in public or in general or like at work. Tough. Yeah, so it's no wonder I am disabled and, don't have any employment aside from working on my video game and doing my writing, trying to advance my writing career, getting published. I've been published quite a bit. I'm thinking about making a website. I know I'm trailing off from the whole Delusions thing, but website linking all my different publications and stuff. Yeah, oh, another issue I have is, I guess you could call it delusion, is just, like, paranoia of authority figures. I have a hard time with doctors. I have a hard time trusting professors and asking them for help. I have a super hard time trusting the police. I really do not trust the police. I've come a long way with doctors. I've come a long way with, like, professors and teachers. I still do not trust the police at all. I hate the police. Which, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, because I'm sure there are really good cops who do good work. But I just do not trust the police at all. I just feel like they are not someone I can turn to. I feel like, same with, like, the emergency room. Like, they tell you if you're in crisis, like, go to the ER or something, and I just don't see myself doing that, because I just don't, again, I have a hard time trusting doctors in general, so... Not like their medical advice, but just, it's, well, sometimes with the prescriptions and stuff, because like I said, I felt like I was being controlled or I'm being poisoned, and like they're trying to dictate how I live my life and all this other stuff. It's just, yeah, something to do with authority figures. I don't know. I don't really know where it stems from. Well, I guess I don't know. I'm not sure on that. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. That's my comment on that. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers everything, and I've been going for about 18 minutes now, so I guess I'm gonna stop and call it a day with these videos. I'll probably I think my next one maybe will be on the path to how I got diagnosed and what getting the diagnosis did for me. I think that would be a good topic to discuss. I've also been thinking about covering, like, how certain things help with schizophrenia, like playing video games or reading, stuff like that. I think video games are a good distraction, but again, that's a different video. Okay, well, thank you, whoever watched this. I don't know who is watching or why one would watch, but thank you all the same if you made it through, or if you even made it like 1% and you're not seeing this. Bye.